All right. I'm going to go over how the overall flow of the units will work in the course. We've already talked about in the previous video the course requirements and a general overview. Here we'll get into how the units work and uh, describe the particular assignments that you'll be required to do. So these units are broken into modulars. As of now, you can only see Unit 1. Unit 1 is the only unit that's going to be broken into two parts. Just a reminder, your course schedule is located here, but also when you enter into the course, you'll see that you have upcoming events and work to do. You can also view those at the course schedule in D2L. Obviously, upcoming, it's only the next 7 days, but full schedule. So that's another way to keep up with the schedule in the course is within D2L. So within Unit 1, we'll go into your pre-lecture is your learning outcomes and your reading assignments. Now, for the lecture part of the course, the slides are available to you, but we have linked video resources that you have access to as a video guide. So for example, a topic you may be familiar with, supply and demand, has numerous amounts of videos broken into the different parts of the chapter, all the way from starting with the demand curve or introducing you a little bit about what markets are, and then ending with price ceilings and price floors, and then also a deeper look at the demand curve. So what you want to make sure you do is watch these individually and take notes on the particular sections. Or if you need some remediation after you read the textbook, something to go into more depth, another strategy might be to read the chapter and then go in and watch some of the videos. One of the ones that, and I think you'll, as you go through this, I would watch the different videos. I tend to like MRU University, but also there's some different formats. For example, Mr. G, he kind of aligns his videos with your textbook. And you can see that it's more of like a whiteboard, and explaining things in a simplified way, but that might be easier for you to take notes than some of the other formats. But when we get into MRU University, you're getting more of a little bit more of a media production rather than just the whiteboard. But for note-taking purposes, Mr. G might be the videos that you want to reference. When you talk about MRU University, you're going to see a little bit more of a video production here with better graphics, less of a whiteboard format. And each of these videos have quizzes at the end. If you'd like to quiz yourself, you could take practice questions, and they are part of a unit. And if you, so again, reviewing and finding the resources that you feel best suit the way you learn the material, or maybe use one for review and one for preparation. I don't. You'll have to figure out a strategy that I think works best for you. I do think the Mr. G videos, on the other hand, will lead to really good note taking, or more of a note taking format. You could still take notes from the other ones. MRU being the one that's similar, that tends to dominate. So, with that being said, there aren't really. I will not be really lecturing from a traditional standpoint of an 80-minute lecture on a chapter. we'll be relying on these mini micro lectures and videos that have already been correlated with all the chapters that you're required to do. So the video guide is a very helpful resource. So for each unit, as we reviewed in the course requirements, you will be, of course, have your reading assignment, video resources, there's lecture slides, but you have discussions, and all this is located in the post-lecture tab. Discussions and reading quizzes will be in this post-lecture tab. So if you look at the discussions, they tend to go step by step. And sometimes I'll have a video for review. That's another way you can review, is I'll be populating the discussions with video links that help review the concept that you're going to be asked to either just make one post or to engage with your classmates. So not all discussions will you engage with your classmates. Some of them lend themselves towards more of a short answer, essay style format. There's not much of a class discussion we could have, and we're not going to honestly have the time to discuss everything. So you would just do what would be an initial post following steps 1 to 2. So in this case, for example, you're being asked to do 2 steps. Now, in other discussion boards, you'll be asked to do, again, there's your reading quiz, and you always want to go to the post-lecture. You'll be asked to reply to 2 of your peers' posts. If you do not see reply to 2 of your peers' posts, then that means that this is not a class discussion. You most certainly can, with the other ones, reply to your classmates or engage with your classmates, but you are not required to, and you're not going to be graded on, extending the discussion with your classmates. So some of these, again, ask you to reply to your peers. Others do not ask you to do that. They are more just taking the place of a short answer / essay style question. So just keep that in mind. So again, reading quizzes and discussions. The independent study, you're not required to do it, but there's some key terms, review, self-check questions, and GeoGebra. And these help you with, these are just going to help you plot a demand curve in this case, manipulate a graph, and familiarize yourselves with graphic and economics. Of course, all the videos review this stuff too, but if you want some practice to make sure that you know how to do the graphing without just having a static graph, it's actually more or less you building stuff yourself. And in this case, it's saying, can you build a demand curve, plot a demand curve, and you can manipulate the points on the graph, and you can move around the points on the graph. These have been created so that you can, familiarize yourselves with actually doing the graph versus and you can see here it says when you successfully plotted the points, the demand curve will appear. So once you'll know you did it correctly when the demand curve appears. As you can see here, if I don't place these correctly, then there's no demand curve. But if I place them on there correctly, there would be a curve or line that runs through all the points once they're placed correctly. So again, it's self-check, but this will give you practical experience with graphing, and to make sure that you understand how the graphs, one, can be manipulated or might be created. In some of your multiple choice style questions, you will be given graphs to review and analyze. I look forward to talking to you in further videos. Hope this explains the step-by-step, a little bit more in depth on how the flow of the course through the units work. I look forward to explaining things a little bit more in depth as we go throughout the course and in future videos.